Hello, I am Felipe Perez, your guide in the technological world. Welcome to Felper's Technology, the channel where you'll learn to master the most demanded skills in IT and technology. Here you'll find practical and dynamic tutorials. Are you ready to unlock technological knowledge and be part of the digital revolution? Join my community and be part of Felper's Technology. Hello, this time I'm going to show you how to compile this program. This program already has some functionality, so with what I have so far, I can compile it and show you how to do that compilation. Python has a way to compile that. When you have everything in one file, you can do a very simple compilation. In this case, the compilation is a bit different because my program is modularized. Notice on the left side I have different folders. I have files, like for example, here are files, my database, my initial screen, and also here my virtual environment. So all of these come together. There are different folders. So my program is modularized this way. To compile it, you have to do it in a special way. There are some things you need to do that I'm going to show you now, so you know how to compile your programs when they are like this. Here I have an emulator. You can use it from the command line if you don't have this type of emulator. I put it because I like how the color green looks. But well, you can use either one. So since this program is not yet compiled, what I have to type is the word Python, which is the program. I also have to put the name of my program with the extension .py to run it. I'm going to run it, and this will show me the program as far as I've gotten. With what I have so far, it already has functionality, and I can show you how to compile it so you can do it. Well, I'm going to close it. Now, first you have to make sure that when you compile, your program is active with the virtual environment. Here I have my virtual environment active. Notice that it says ENV on the left side. This indicates that it is active. I'm going to deactivate so you can see. To deactivate it, it has its programs that I previously had to install. For example, I'm going to type dir, and here I can see that I have the activate and the deactivate. This tool allows me to activate and deactivate my virtual environment. I'm going to deactivate it, and notice how this pair changes. Well, this way you can see when your virtual environment is active or inactive. I'm going to activate it again so it allows me to run what I need. And now I can see that I have everything already installed for my virtual environment. I have to leave this path and enter this other path. When you are going to compile, you have to make sure you are in this path so your program can compile. Okay, the first thing I have to install is pip install, just like you see here, pip install PyInstaller. This will help me create my executable file. It finished very quickly. I'm going to clear this so it stays visible at the top. And now what I need to install is pip install Babel. Now, what I'm going to do is create a file with the extension .spec. Notice that it will have my name, but instead of being .py, it will be .spec. I'm going to run it. Well, and with this, it won't leave a terminal at the bottom. Simple for that. And I'm going to run it. Do you know what happens if you forget to like my tutorial? YouTube technology algorithm validate the videos. If you like them, you keep them alive and help them reach more people. If not, they disappear. Don't let this tutorial die, give it a like and leave a comment. Thank you. When I ran the command make spec, what I did was create this file called catalogo_clientes.spec. This is one of the important parts before compiling because this file creates a structure, but you have to put some configurations. Like for example, where your database is, where your icon is, and things like that. If you have videos or whatever, you have to configure that here. If you forget to configure it, of course, when you want to run it, it won't find either the database or the icon. So it's important. Now, in this part, what I need first is to come here to Datas, which is where I will put the path of where my database and my icon are, which in this case are the special file I have here. The rest are Python files that it will finally consider. But these two are external files that I'm adding to my program. You see the database here because this program is made for desktop machines that don't have to depend on a server and don't have to depend on a database server like SQL or wherever. In this case, I'm using SQLite, which allows you to create your database so you can have them standalone. So I'm going to configure this file. Now I have put the paths of where my file is, which is the icon. I have that icon here, and also my database, which I have here. As I said, these are independent files from Python, so you have to configure them here. There are different ways you can configure these paths. Sometimes you don't need to put the whole path and you can just use short paths like the one I will show you in red on my screen. But the truth is that I have faced some conflicts, so I prefer to put the complete path and that avoid problems for me. So well, I have this configured. Remember that I also installed Babel? Then I need to configure it here. With this configuration I have already set up, it's okay. Then I'm going to remove this part here. And I'm going to change here. Here I'm going to put false and I'm going to put the path of the icon here. Done. With this configuration, the paths of the icon and database here. I also put Babel here. I have my icon here. With this configuration that I have set up, my program should run very well when I compile it. I just want to tell you, when you put the files modularized like this, it's also important that you put this type of structure in your code. To better validate the paths of where the database or the icon is. For example, which is what I have here. Also notice that I create a variable for my database, which is the same one I'm configuring on this side. So I think I'm ready with this to compile my program and create an executable. When I compile it, it will also add more files because it will create a directory. Let's say it's the one to distribute to another computers or whatever you want to use it. Well, I'm going back to my virtual environment. Remember that to convert your files into an executable, you have to be in the path where your program is and also where the file we just created called .spec is. Since I'm sure I'm there, now I'm going to run the command that will allow me to create the executable. With this command, I'm putting PyInstaller and I'm also just taking this file, catalogo_clientes.spec, which is the file that will convert the whole program. Because the configuration it already has is precisely to take all my scripts with my database, my icon, and then create the executable. So I press enter and wait for the files to be created. At this moment, it already has created this directory and this directory, and it will continue working. So you have to wait a moment for it to finish. It already finished running the program. Now, what I'm going to do is validate my distribution file. Remember, I told you that you had this folder called dist, which is the one I'm going to use so my program can run on another computers. Here we see it has more folders that were created and it has the file that is the executable, catálogo_clientes.exe. So I'm going to go to that path and run it. Here is where I have my directory, and I'm going to search here. This is the directory you would have to copy to another machines that is already compiled. The others you wouldn't need. This is your code. You have to say it because finally, if you want to make any modifications, it's for you to use. But really the one you have to pass to another computers will only be this one. Moreover, I'm going to remove it from here. I'm going to navigate first, and notice I have my file here and the files we were seeing with my database and the icon. So this is the directory. I'm going to copy it. I only copy this directory and put it in C drive. This is so you see that there are no dependencies with the code anymore. I'm just going to navigate in my directory, and now I'm going to run my program. Perfect. Here is my program, and here is where I can start making modifications. I just click New, and I'm going to put things like this just to show you that this program is already running and working. Simple putting fields anywhere. It doesn't matter. These are numbers, so I'm going to put here, and with that I'm going to save, and I already have it down here, and I also can edit and change what I need. As I said, this program is ready to use, and this is what you have to send to another computers. I put this directory called distribution, and here you can rename it Programa Helpers. I'm going to name it, and I can enter and see my directory structure plus my program, which is the one that works. Well, this concludes this tutorial. If you were looking for how to compile your programs when they are modularized in Python, this material will help you a lot so you can do it by yourself. Thanks for watching.